I thought it was just impossible for me to ever go to Jamaica, basically, at that time. He was telling us like, yeah, one day you need to go, like to everybody, that you need to go to Jamaica to really experience and really understand. That's what they were always saying, to understand.
Welcome to Dance Specific Talks. This podcast is made for us dancers, and our goal here is to inspire dancers from all over the world to become better, both on and off the dance floor. We want to provide you with a platform where we dancers can share and learn from each other. So let me introduce to you your host for this podcast, t-zer, and remember as always, by dancers for dancers.
What's up, party people, and welcome back to another interview on your favorite dance podcast, Dance Specific Talks, the broadest podcast out there capturing international artists from all over the world with different styles. Now, if you like what we do, go ahead and subscribe to our platforms on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. And please also comment and give us a rating. It would help us a lot to keep this podcast growing. And now, we are traveling all the way to Amsterdam as we are meeting the Polish dancehall dancer Dajana. And what do you need to know about Dajana? She was born and raised in Poland and moved to Amsterdam 2014. Already in Poland, she found the love for dancehall through her mentor over there. Since then, she has done multiple trips to Jamaica, organizing her own tours there, bringing European dancers to Kingston, but also bringing Jamaican dancers to Europe. She's one of the organizers here in the Netherlands that are helping out Jamaican dancers come to Amsterdam to teach and spread the culture forward. And now, let's get it going. Welcome to this interview, Dajana.
Hi.
We are actually in the same city in Amsterdam, but today we're doing it on Zoom anyway, and I'm so happy to have you here. I have like a bunch of questions about you, and to start it off, I read one of your quotes on Instagram, and it said, "Don't ignore a gut feeling. Energy doesn't lie." And I just want to, as an icebreaker question, ask you, when was the last time your gut feeling spoke to you, and what was it about it that you listened to?
Oh, actually, it's just maybe last year or two that I really pay attention to it. And I use it basically all the time, especially about people. Just like if I, get some, I don't know, weird kind of feeling inside of my stomach about someone, then I have like a sign that, I shouldn't be maybe careful. And if it feels good, then, I'm just going to go for it and just give it a chance. So yeah, for me, it's mostly about people, situations, different things actually.
Yeah, and a gut feeling can really lead you to go for something that maybe feel a little bit scary, but it can also tell you to not go for things when it doesn't feel right. Mm-hmm. And another quote that you wrote on your Instagram was also like, when you get a positive feeling, follow that because it aligns with who you are and what you may be meant to do. And I would love if you can also elaborate a little bit about that, like how in your life are you maneuvering, and what is your gut feeling telling you that you're meant to be doing right now?
Maybe not necessarily right now, but in general, just I have that with dancing, So several times I tried quitting or just stopping and moving into something else. But then I always just feel like I want to dance and I need to dance and I need to do things around it. And obviously right now it's a little bit still difficult with COVID and everything, but I definitely feel like that just gives me purpose in life and just keeps me going. So I would definitely say that dancing is one of the biggest things.
Yeah, and we're gonna get into it because you do a lot of things around dancing, but I do know you were born and raised in Poland, and I kind of want to trace back to where that spark of dancing started. Do you have a moment in your life or a certain person or a certain situation that made you feel like, gut feeling is telling me this is something I want to do?
I always loved music. Like I just always loved it. I used to watch different music videos on TV and just try to follow it and like dance along. So that was always somewhere around. And my mom told me that when I was like 8 months old, I would just turn into the speakers, whatever I could hear the music from, and I would just start like moving somehow, as a baby. So it was somewhere in me. But then when I was 15, still in Poland, I got to one of the dance schools. And actually my first dance class was a modern class. But that was not aligned with my gut feeling. And in the studio next door, there was a hip hop class. And I just kept hearing hip hop music. And I really felt like, I was really interested in that other class. I totally couldn't focus in the class that I was taking, So my next class was hip hop. And then, shortly after I discovered about dancehall. So I was like about 15, 16 years old. And Kaya, like she was my first dancehall teacher. And really, I would just never forget her. We keep in touch until today. And she really like sparked this love for dancing in me.
Yeah, because back then, if we look back, I don't know exactly what year it was, but information around dancehall was a bit limited when we started. And because I think my first class was called Raga, and it was when I was 13 years old, and it was basically like Jean Paul and wine. Like that's what it was. And it was very hard for me in the beginning to understand, like, oh, is it called Raga, dance hall, like who's creating what steps? And it was before YouTube was a thing, and like it was a little bit hard. But how did you receive information about the style?
So that was about 2010, 2011. And like you said, it was the information was quite limited. But then Kaya, and with some other friends, she went to a first dancehall camp in Russia at that time, where there were several Jamaicans teaching. So this is where they got their like first information from, and that's what they like tried to share with us. And we were just going through the material, through the steps, all over and over again. But like you said, it was also called Raga Jam at the beginning. It wasn't really like called dancehall, or some people would call it like Raga/dancehall. So that was a bit confusing, but that was also like beginning of my dancing journey. And I was so young, so I didn't really know. Like I just took it, whatever somebody gave to me, and it just kind of made more sense with time and later on.
Yeah.
It was like just something, but I didn't experience really the Jean Paul classes. We already like were dancing to Vibes Cartel and RDX and Idonia and all of these artists.
No, it's such a blessing when you have a teacher that can show you the culture straight away, because we were just like, there was like no one there to guide us. We just basically had to order DVDs and look at the little video clips we could find from like Ding Dong back in the days. And I just remember how proud I was when I figured out the difference between a summer bounce and a Santa bounce. Like that was just big for me back in the days. And I remember when I moved to Gothenburg, and suddenly there was dancehall people there, and I danced like 10 years behind. All my steps were like middle school steps. So I had so much catching up to do. But I love when you have teachers that can just, we never shine enough light on those teachers that can hold our hand and be like, let me just lead you to the right way. And I know that you have passed on that knowledge a lot, but let's not jump ahead. 2014, you moved to Amsterdam, correct?
Yes. Wow, you did your research well.
Of course. And I read in an article, I think it was a Polish article, I translated. You said that the culture shock was a bit hard on you in the beginning when you moved here. What was it that was the clash, and how did you navigate through that?
A lot, even sometimes until today. I'm just like, whoa, like really, Poland is just 1,000 kilometers away. It's not that far. It's just like 1 hour by plane, basically. But still, it's quite different. The biggest difference that I could feel is that in Poland we are more family oriented, whereas here people are just more, they focus more on themselves. And I feel like the family aspect is not as big and as strong as it is in Poland. So that really was a big thing. And in Poland, like people would do things for each other and they won't ask money, for example. But here, often I was like, if somebody does something for you, then most of the times, like they will ask you for money or to share the costs and stuff. And that's something that I wasn't used to.
Yeah, it's different, right? Like since I come from Sweden, I find it also, but it's not as of a big culture clash. But I do find it hard sometimes to just be like, how are they thinking in the system? And Sweden has a lot of rules, but here it's just I don't know, it's just different. So it's interesting to hear people from Poland, because Poland is a big country. People don't really realize how big of a European country it is, and you get a lot of people, but you also have a lot of nature. And I think that in that way we are similar. Netherlands has fields and not so much forest, and that's one of the things at least I miss a lot from home.
Yeah, we also have like forests everywhere around, and also access to the sea, to mountains, lakes. Like just the landscape is very, very diverse, and I love to be around nature.
Yeah. We have to go out to get that more often. You just have to seek it more in the Netherlands.
And we have a bit of more sun than here.
Yeah. No, it's always beautiful. But when it comes to like the Polish dance scene, I find that a lot of dancers from Poland are very motivated. They're very like, they want to seek information and all of this. How was it for you maybe going to Jamaica for the first time?
Wow, that was the best thing I could ever do. The best, because actually still going back to Poland a little bit, like there were already 10 years ago, we had several Jamaicans coming and teaching workshops, and that wasn't really the case here in the Netherlands. So I would go to the workshops with, for example, a global Bob, and he would always just, tell us about Jamaica as well. And he was telling us like, yeah, one day you need to go, like to everybody, that you need to go to Jamaica to really experience and really understand. That's what they were always saying, to understand. And I was like, what should I understand? Like what else can there be? And also because I was living in Poland at the time, I didn't really plan to like travel, live somewhere else. And because of the currency, the differences, and the fact that people earn less than here, I thought it was just impossible for me to ever go to Jamaica, basically, at that time, and also as a teenager. The cost of a trip like that was just insane. So it was like a dream that I thought it will never come true. But then 2017, I was able to go to Jamaica for the first time, and I really understood what he meant, Global Bob, what he meant by understanding. When you go to Jamaica and you see it for yourself, it just all started making sense. It's just, everything is just so connected, music, with the parties, with people, with really everything just it was just like this, like before all the pieces were separated, but then in Jamaica, it all becomes like one puzzle and one piece. It really made so much sense.
Do you have like a story from that first trip that you are like, oh, I'm never gonna forget this moment?
Well, many things, but but I already went like a few times that I think some of the memories kind of, I don't really even remember what was like the first time, what was the second time, but I mean the parties and just seeing the dancers, like, I don't know, I guess the people who never been to Jamaica, they can't really understand what the parties there look like. If you think about a party in Europe where you have just, people standing next to the walls and next to the bar, and then maybe some people will be like moving on the dance floor. But there you have just basically a circle with dancers, with like real dancers, and they just go really hard. They just, dance for life at the party for hours and hours and hours, showcasing their dance moves. And it's just so beautiful and so energetic and inspiring.
Yeah, it really is. Like, it's hard to come back to Europe and feel that there's any parties that are as lit as the ones in Kingston. And it's like a whole show, there's like people flying over each other, and there is like different songs means different things. So there's the females taking over, and then there's them guys, and then you have the video man, and then you have the peanut man, and then you have the weed man, and it's just like
chicken and everything.
Everyone has a role. Yeah. And but there is a big step though from just going to Jamaica, and then as you have started doing, which is organizing trips and bringing people to Jamaica. To be honest, I would be a bit scared because it is a different place. It is a bit of a safety issue. Like, how have you navigated through that part of being like, okay, I'm actually going to organize to bring Europeans with me and be there?
Well, I actually studied tourism management. So I decided to combine my, passion for dancing with like my education and do that. But before I brought people, I went to Jamaica, I think 4 times, and then 3 or 2 times by myself. So I really wanted to be sure that, I feel good and I know where to go and I know what and how before I bring people with me. So like, especially the times that I went by myself, I really thought about like, okay, if I bring people, then where I can go with them and what to do and what to tell them and everything. So I really prepared for that. And then, like I said, I studied tourism management, which also involved creating tourism products and basically part of it was organizing trips as well. I just decided to combine all of this and decided to bring people who really wanted to see it for themselves.
Yeah. And so how does it look like now when you bring people? Because I have to admit, I have been to Jamaica 3 times, but it was a very long time ago. It was like 2014, 2015. And so I know it has changed, but because before everyone, including me and the people I went with, we used to go to Dance JA and all the people were giving classes there. Almost. So it was very much like you go to that dance school every day and then you just take classes for different teachers. Then I know now that the crews have their own separate places and you have to kind of go to them and their areas in order to take their classes. How are you maneuvering that with like a whole group? Do you like constantly keep in contact with all these dancers and then you have like a driver, or like how do you do that?
Yeah, so basically I contacted the dance crews that I wanted to have class with for the group on Instagram. And just before I just messaged them that, around that time I'll be bringing a group and we would like to take a class, and if they will be in Jamaica, first of all, because, they could be on tour, and about the cost and everything. And then we always agreed that I'm gonna like let them know a few days in advance, basically, to like as a reminder, like a week or 2 weeks before. So that's what I was doing. So I kept in touch with all the crews, and I had to like confirm, shortly before the classes, and always like a day before the class as well, because things could change. And I also rented a bus there on the spot, so we could all go together at the same time to the classes, that we all went as a group and everybody could feel safe and included.
Yeah, that's so good, because the roads in Jamaica, at least used to be very hard. And I've been changing like 3 tires in Jamaica because we always had to drive our own car and vehicles. So it was on us. As soon as there was a flat tire in the middle of the road, it was just like, girls, get out. Now we gotta change the tire right here. So I'm so happy to hear that you have like a driver and like someone else responsibility.
Yeah, no. I'm not driving in Jamaica. First of all, on the other side of the road, and then people drive, I don't know, just crazy. Like you have to be born there, I think, to really understand how it all works. And if somebody drives in Jamaica that doesn't live there, like I really respect.
Yeah. Yeah, for me it was I drove a lot there, but that was because I literally just looked at the people that I was with and like, okay, you're all drunk and high and I don't want to die, so I'm just gonna drive. And we had like a 7-seater car and there was always like double as many people in the vehicle. Yeah. And every time we got stopped by the police, I just didn't know how to speak English and I let the Jamaicans handle it. But yeah, I did it out of my own safety a lot of the time. So not completely recommended though.
No, yeah. I think the group I preferred, so that we have a local driver, so they know their ways.
That's great.
And now it's actually nice that, we actually go to the dancers, because people also get to experience different areas of Kingston, because, well, basically most of the dancers are based in Kingston, so they can, just see different areas where these dancers live, because it's most of the times where they live. The classes are happening in their backyards most of the times. So that's also a nice experience, that they get to actually see more of the local life as well.
Yeah, that's super dope. And what has been like your best moments and learning experience by organizing these tours?
That everything can go wrong. But I was quite fortunate that it wasn't really like everything was basically, as planned. But still, like, just different behaviors of people actually. And I think next time I would just maybe have more rules, just to avoid some kind of misunderstandings within the group. I think it's always like, you basically, with every trip, I guess I would learn something, and there would be something to add. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And do you still feel like you want to keep organizing these trips, or that you rather just go on your own and enjoy?
I do. I would like to actually mix both. That, sometimes I would go by myself to still just be able to grow as a dancer. But then I would like to bring people with me as well. But I just want to wait a little bit until like everything is, more normal, let's say, that people just feel safe. Because even before COVID, people had so many questions and they were already afraid, because Jamaica has this, I don't know, many people think it's unsafe and dangerous and stuff. So that was like one concern. And then, just obviously traveling so far to a place where the culture is so different. So that was like another concern that people had. And now with all the rules changing so fast, like, I guess, many people would be even more concerned. So I just want to wait a little bit until things are just, settle a little bit more.
Yeah.
Everyone can have peace of mind when going there.
Exactly. Because again, there you are with like all these questions. So yeah, I can really understand that. And when you go, because this is also, again, this could have changed throughout the years, but back in the days, it used to be that if you were a European, you usually went out with the same group to the parties. Like, for example, I would train mostly with elite teams. So then that would mean that I would only go out with them. And to enter the parties, we would only go with the elite team there, even though we could take classes and stuff from other people. When you then come with a group, do you have a specific crew that you personally are more connected with, that, you link up and you go to the parties with, or how does it work for you?
Yeah, most of the times actually, like guys from Hectic Diamonds were very supportive, and they were always there to help, and also, we went to the parties with them, or even guys from Supreme, but it was not necessarily maybe one crew, but it is kind of the case that most of the times you see like the same people going with the same crews to the parties. But I feel like Jamaicans, or these days, are just so open and so like aware of foreigners as well, that they just want to make them feel welcome and make them feel good and safe. So they will always, help foreigners.
Oh, I'm very happy to hear that. And I think I saw somewhere that you helped raising funds for Rolex dad or something like this. And I was wondering if this is like, I don't know, maybe if we can trace back to this the Polish feeling of family and that you take care and they take care of you when you are there. And then it looks to me from the outside that you're also very caring when it comes to giving back to the dancers and do what you can from the outside.
Yeah, when I went to Jamaica for the first time, I realized how important it is to give credits to the creators, and actually also because they have really hard time, there. It's really hard for them. And there are so many people who love this culture, and I think it's just important if we just pay more attention to the creators, and also help them and support them in a way, because people in West, they sometimes take advantage, or they have more than the creators themselves. So if there is a chance, obviously it's impossible to help everybody, but if I know someone, especially like personally, then if somebody's in need, then of course I would try to help at least. And yeah, of course, like guys from Hectic Diamonds always made me feel so safe, and always supported. So when they were in need, I just couldn't walk past.
No, I think that's really beautiful. And you are not only bringing dancers there, but you're also bringing Jamaicans here. And I know that you have an upcoming event together with Junction Crew to bring Cosmic from Elite Team. How does that journey look like? Because I have only heard how hectic it is as organizers in Europe to create visas and to make everyone get on the flight in time and all of this. How has your experience been bringing Jamaicans over here?
Yeah, so I'm actually, like, when we bring Jamaicans here to Amsterdam, they are already either living in Europe or on tour. So somebody else is dealing with their visa and bringing them straight from Jamaica. That's very complicated. But even when they are here, there's just so many things that you have to take care of, so many things that you have to think about and organize and prepare. And I think like people often just think that, oh, like, whatever, like you don't need to do anything basically. But there is like lots of work behind the scenes, because if we bring somebody here, we have to take care of everything, and also pay for accommodation, for food, for transportation, for the studio that we rent, for the cameraman if there is somebody filming. Obviously pay a high fee to the teacher that they obviously deserve, but that's also one of the costs. And then putting so much time and effort to promote the workshop, and get everybody's payment, and prepare a list and everything. Like there's just so much. And sometimes I get messages like, oh, but 30 euros is too much for a workshop. And I'm like, there's a big list of how many things we have to pay for, and that's why there is this price.
Yeah, and mostly people don't know that you as organizers don't earn anything on bringing them. It just basically costs a lot of time and stress from your side, and you basically don't always go even with a plus.
Like we just pray to get out of the costs, to cover the costs.
Yeah.
That's what we want.
Yeah, man, that is it's a high price to pay, but it is again the love for the culture and to bring the respect to the creators. And yeah, it's a few months of stress, but it means so much also in order for them to keep on living. And one thing that maybe people here don't understand is like if you bring someone like, for example, Cosmic from Elite Team, he's also paying for his crew back home. So when he leaves, somebody needs to also supply the people back home with income as well. So yeah, it's a circle of life, you can call it.
Yeah. And it's not, they don't do, or, you know, for exposure at all costs. And even just to bring them here, like, obviously, I don't know if people really even imagine that, you know, you need to pay for a flight ticket, for food, for accommodation, like basic things. So at all costs, that's why, you know, it cannot be for free, unfortunately.
No. And
of course, there are people who appreciate and, you know, support, but you always have some that will question and just will say that it's too expensive.
Yeah, but not every workshop is for everyone, I guess. But it's just such a small fee compared to, again, what it would take for us back in the days when, like, you couldn't even have, like, there was no Jamaicans coming here because nobody even know who made the steps. And yeah, so thank you so much on the behalf of the community for helping out. And talking about the community, you are teaching regular classes in Amsterdam. You bring people there, you bring Jamaicans over here. What is some of your hopes and wishes for the dancehall community in Amsterdam, Netherlands, and Europe coming forward now?
I would like to actually organize bigger events in the Netherlands with more Jamaicans. So I just wish that people, you know, that we had even more people who are interested and who would like to, well, sometimes pay the price and just, you know, take their time and just put effort into coming to an event, or maybe over the weekend, that will allow us to bring several Jamaicans at once here. But for that, I think, you know, we need even bigger and stronger community. So hopefully that just keeps growing and that we attract the right people who really want to, you know, learn about the culture, and not only just to come and learn the choreo, but actually try to understand the culture and just, you know, be interested to go to Jamaica one day and really just, you know, learn the right thing.
Yeah, and I also see that you collaborate a lot with the other dancehall artists here. So it seems like the community is healthy, even though it's not that big. But I saw you doing videos with Junction Crew and other dancers here. Are those some more projects that we can expect from you coming forward?
Yeah, for sure. I just love creating dance videos. It also depends, you know, obviously, if I feel inspired, especially if there is a song that I really love and I feel like I want to dance to it, then immediately I have some vision in my head. And I really enjoy doing that. And I like watching back, you know, videos from a few years ago or from when I started, and to see the progress and to see the journey. And it just also gives me, you know, like a feeling and all the memories back. And it's just all like gives me more purpose and motivation. So definitely more dance videos.
Yeah. And when you look back at your old videos, what is the biggest change that you see within your dance when you look at those videos back then and now? How has your dance changed throughout the years?
Everything. Everything. Like when I started, because I'm tall, and I was always tall when I started, I was already quite tall. So it was just so difficult for me to bend legs and just dance with bent legs, and then to have my waistline like in the front, you know, like how it is in the dancehall position. And I just felt so stiff and so limited. Everything was very, very difficult, and I'm still learning, and it will always be a journey and, you know, a progress, hopefully. But yeah, I just see so much change, especially when I went to Jamaica. Like since then, my dancing really started to improving with every trip. That's just like the biggest thing, basically, I would say. Not only going to, I don't know, maybe someone who listens like thinks like, oh, only going to Jamaica. Well, I mean, taking classes in Jamaica from Jamaicans in the natural environment. That really was the key for me.
Yeah, and I remember also feeling that my freestyle got way better after being there, because I saw them doing their clashes. AK, for people who doesn't know, it's like battles but in 8 counts. 1 8 count, 1 8 count. And the way that they didn't really use necessarily perfect steps, but the way they clashed was really something that attracted me. I was like, whoa, like you can just freestyle with it and not be like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, you know. Sometimes I feel like dancehall can be a little bit limiting in the battle scene because people just put step on step on step, but they don't really freestyle with it. They don't really make it their own. It's just like repetitive. Have you ever, like, I tried to look for if you had battled a lot, but is that something you have done a lot or that you would like to do, or how does it look for you?
Actually, I don't really like battles, especially like I don't like battling. I like to watch dancers, dancing together, but I just don't really like the idea of battles. I know that it's more about sharing and stuff, but still there's always this, I don't know, competition or maybe a little bit of aggression, maybe, let's say. I just like this aspect of like, who's the best, like it always ends right with the winner, basically. So yeah, that's just something that I never really related to, let's say. Yeah, so I didn't really battle.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah, I feel like I'm just in general enjoying more the choreographies and just maybe, just like dancing together and like in, with dance videos and stuff, and not necessarily freestyling. I'm not really a freestyle dancer.
No, that's fine. That's fine. And that's also that's the magic that is so hard to explain for people who've never been to a dancehall party. But when everyone is doing the same step at the same time, like there's just something with the energy that it's so addictive.
Exactly. So actually, I actually really prefer that, when everybody just dances together and shares the moment, then people kind of having competition with each other.
Yeah.
Because I think I'm like of course, I mean, it's a nice way to also train as a dancer and just become better, like definitely. But I just lost my thought. Well, never mind. But yeah.
No, but that's the thing with dancehall. It has that freedom. You can choose, right? Like you don't have to be a battle dancer, you don't have to be a choreo person. And I remember reading somewhere that you wrote like, why I love dancing is the freedom. And when I think about dancehall and when I see you dance, I see both the feminine dancehall, the female dancehall, and I see the regular dancehall. Do you have any? Is the freedom for you that you can range from your masculine to your feminine all within one style, or what is the freedom for you? Why dancehall?
Yeah, that's one of the aspects for sure, that I can just sometimes, be just more sexy and feminine and express that side if I feel like it. But sometimes I can just put on a hoodie and just sweatpants and, just feel more masculine. I think we all have different sides to our personalities. And I feel like dancehall really helps me to be able to showcase different parts of my personality and mood. Yeah, that's something for sure. But another aspect of freedom is that, like, obviously you have steps and, there's certain way to do the moves and stuff. But I always feel like you don't really have to put your hand exactly here and exactly there, but you have kind of more freedom. And you can put your own flavor and your own spices to these dance moves, and just this music, like it just feels so freeing to me.
Yeah, and it's a bit maybe hard for outside people to understand dancehall. When you hear it, it's a lot of either violent song or like a crazy hype song, or sometimes it's really sad and about your mom, and then there's everything in between.
And it's just really like a perfect description of life, or like, perfect way to, they just talk about their life, not necessarily maybe our daily life in Europe, but that's just reflection of life of Jamaicans. And I think it's just very authentic. That's what always really attracts me to dancehall, that is authentic, even though they talk about vulgar things or violence or they still just talk about their truths. So I really like that.
Yeah, it's raw. It's not so like finely polished kind of.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm.
And life is like that too, you know. It's life is not always beautiful and perfect. It's also sometimes just raw.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that too. I was always attracted to dancehall because when I started out, still today, I love explosive dance styles. And so it was either like dancehall or crump for me. Those were the options. And then I also found the versatility of dancehall so captivating, and the connection I felt with reggae music and the spiritual stuff within that, the close sibling situation between reggae and dancehall really nourished different parts of me. So I am looking forward to come and try more of your classes. I know they are Wednesdays at 7.
Yes, for now, Wednesdays at 7.
So for everyone listening, Amsterdam Dance Center, 7 o'clock. And how do you see this year coming up now? I know you have a lot of students. You know, like, what is in your pipeline? Do you want to create like a crew of your own? Do you want to do more videos? Is it mostly the events you want to focus on? Or how does your 2022 look like?
I wish that it was more about organizing events here for now in the Netherlands. I really have this gut feeling that is telling me to organize a event with more Jamaicans here. So hopefully that will be possible somewhere this year. Also more videos. If I have enough inspiration and motivation, that's for sure something that I want to do. And I actually want to create like a limited series of tips and advices for dancers on YouTube as well, just like a few videos, because I feel like there are not that many videos actually about dancing, about for dancers, and I always like to listen about things like this. So that's some project that I want to do as well. And for the rest, we will see. We will see what this year brings.
Yeah, because you mentioned also you are a tall woman, and I do know that you're modeling from time to time. Is this something you still also want to do next to your dancing?
Well, if it happens, yes, but that's not something that I'm really like focusing on and really pushing through. But if it happens, then I'm open.
Well, you should all check out Dajana Dancer's Instagram, because there are some beautiful photos of this long body of yours. And it's always nice to see someone just going for it. And and I love the way you portray. I mean, Instagram is just one social platform, but it's really interesting to go through your stuff and dig deeper into who you are. And just looking forward. You do have the event coming up in April, which is very soon, but we are also going to teach on an event in May. So everyone should look out for that. I don't know what's going to be called yet, but it's somewhere in May, and it's going to be a mix of dancehall, Afro, high heels, and a bunch of other stuff.
So look forward to
yeah. Well, in the anime interviews, I always have something called fill in the gaps. And this is where I start a sentence and you end with one word or an end of a sentence of your choice. Okay. Are you ready?
More than one word.
It can be an end of a sentence, yes. Short answers, whatever comes to your mind.
Try.
All right. Okay, if I could describe dancehall with one word, it would be
authenticity.
Love it. And the reason why I think everyone dancing dancehall should go to Jamaica is
to understand the culture.
Boom, Global Bob said it first and we are repeating it. Love it.
Now I understand what he meant.
All right. When I choreograph a new piece, I always try
to listen how I feel and just listen to the beat.
And when I stand on stage or in a dance video, I usually express
myself.
And when I go in my teaching role, I try to give my students
everything that I have and just encourage them to want to explore more.
Boom. And the last one, if I could give new dancehall dancers one advice, it would be
to take classes from Jamaicans and go to Jamaica one day.
I want to know, we want to know if people out there want to find you and find more information about you, your upcoming events, your videos, where can people find you? The mic is yours.
You can find me on Instagram. I have 2 accounts. One, Dajana Dancer, and then the other one, Dajana Dancer _creations. There I post some information about the events, past trips to Jamaica, and just things that I do around dancing.
And if people want to join to a new trip to Jamaica, when do you think the next one would maybe take place?
I really don't know. I really don't know that. I'm just trying to, observe what is happening and just wait for a little bit until things are normal for like a longer while. And then, I don't know, hopefully next year.
Oh, so but people...
if someone would be interested, just let me know, because I don't really want to announce it for everybody. Because I really want the right people, and I would preferably want to go with people that I know as well. So if you're interested, let me know and we can talk about it, and I can put you on a list. I have a waiting list for like next trip. So
oh, that's so good. Okay, so everyone listening, you can find her in the description below. And yes, thank you so much, Dajana, for your time.
I'm really impressed with all the research that you've done.
Of course. I do think that dancers should get more highlights. We are artists, and I really want more people to know about your story. So
thank you. That was very nice.
Thank you so much.
Good luck with all the next talks, and I hope more Jamaicans will be on your podcast as well.
Oh yes, we will make it happen. Don't forget to click subscribe, comment below, and give us a rating or review. We have a Facebook page, YouTube page, and we are on Spotify, Google Podcasts, iTunes, and all the other podcast platforms. We also have an Instagram, so don't forget to tag us in your favorite episode and share it with the world, because we read all of it.